Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching. My name is Oluwaseyi Fadayo, and this is the Intentional Parenting Talk Show. To me here this afternoon, it's actually afternoon here, is Mrs. Sorinolu. Mrs. Sorinolu is a school director, the school owner, and she loves children. She's been in this business for decades now, and she would like to share with us how we can manage our children in this COVID period, especially their emotional response in with COVID-19. Thank you. We are waiting for her to join in. This interview is actually on Zoom. So as soon as she's dialing, we'll connect with her. Thank you. Okay, I'm a children teacher. While we wait, I think I would love to sing. Children have the heritage of the Lord. Children are rewards from the Lord. Children are the young man's arrow. Children are the source of joy and happiness. They are reward from God on high. Young they may be now, but great tomorrow. The Lord himself has made them high, above our dogs and mighty men. So why not come and join the blessed to make friends with heritage. Now, Mrs. Sorinolu is here. Welcome, Mrs. Sorinolu. It's nice to have you here. We're singing before you join us, and the song was Children Are the Heritage of the Lord. As I mentioned earlier, Mrs. Sorinolu is a school owner, and she's been in this business for a long time. She loves children. She's a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Great Ife. Like they normally intimidate us with their stuff. So she'll be talking about emotional response in this COVID period. Mrs. Sorinolu, say hello to us. Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello, Mrs. Sorinolu. Can you hear us? Hello. Oh, she can't hear us, I guess. Hello, Mrs. Sorinolu. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. And she's here waiting. She's gone. Maybe I should, okay, she's coming back. Let me continue with my song. Children are the heritage of, Mrs. Sorinolu, are you here now? Can you hear us? Hello, we can hear some sound from your hands. Hello, Mrs. Sorinolu, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I've already done the introduction. I said you are from that school that normally intimidates us with their song, Great Ife. Can you tell us how we can help our children with emotional support in this COVID period? I don't know if you saw that video of that 4-year-old that was crying and saying, there's no fun, we can't go to the park, we can't go to get ice cream, we can't actually go out, it's not funny here, inside is not fun. The video went viral. So how can we help our children in this COVID season?
Okay, basically, well, I believe we are very close to the end of the tunnel already. But initially, a lot of children found it very difficult, coping. And as an adult, you need to try to understand and see from a child's point of view. Initially, when the lockdown started, we all thought it was going to be just for some few weeks. So it was okay telling the children, don't worry, we'll soon go back to school, we'll be fine. That was March, April. What's happening? Why are you not allowing me to go to school? Why are we not going out? Why can't we visit friends, And the basic thing is, first of all, try to step aside and try to see things from a child's point of view. You know, for instance, if you have a child who is 5 or 6, there is no how in the world you could explain to that child that there's COVID and is infectious, and so therefore we can't go to school. It's not, it doesn't suffice for a child of 5 or 6. You may really need to come down to their level and then let them see what is happening at their level. There were a lot of books coming out then, especially soft copy storybooks, talking about how to cope with COVID at home, children asking their parents endless questions. You know, you explain to your child today, you can't go to school because there's COVID out there. And they're like, okay, I get it, it's infectious. And then tomorrow they ask you again, why can't I go to school? And you get tired. You know, as a parent, you need to keep trying to explain to them, you know, over and over again to the best of their ability until they're able to really get it. That is basically for their safety, you know. That's part of the reason. And then basically empathy. You have to be, you know, empathize with your child. Try to step in their shoes and see what it feels like being a child of that age. So I think that's that's the best way to go
Mrs.
about
Sorinolu,
it.
you know, some of us as parents too will get tired. So who is going to empathize with us?
Okay, that's we go to an adult mental health. There've been a lot of talks about mental health for adults before now. Like when I talk to parents in my school, I tell them you can't give what you don't have. If you are not mentally stable, you cannot give that to your child because you don't have it. So for an adult, if you have been used to having basic steps, ways you could always recoup yourself and get emotionally stable again, you may not find this period as an adult so difficult to go through. For instance, for someone like me, I tell my children when I'm really just, I know I need a break, I need to be quiet, I just beg them. I want to be in the room for some few hours, I want to take a nap. Please just allow me to just unwind. You know, they understand that well, maybe because of their ages. I can't imagine children, if you have children of like 2, 3 years, you may not be able to get away with that. But there are so many articles online, so many parents, friends you could talk to on, you know, how they've handled their children in that age. You are able to have, you know, a grip of yourself, and then you'll be able to manage the period too as well. So just know that what you don't have, you can't give to your children.
Okay. What we don't have, we can't give to our children, which is very, very important. We need to be emotionally stable before we can help those children to be stabilized with their own emotion. Okay, that brings me to another question, Mrs. Sorinolu. Will this period of lockdown have any effect in the lives of our children? Maybe emotional, maybe they can resume school moody or unfriendly or sad or something.
Definitely. Something most parents don't know about children is that they are routine beings, just like we are. And even for children, when you suck their routine, it has more effect on them than an adult. You know, as an adult or as a mother, for instance, you know, sometimes your days can be unpredictable. You know, okay, I wake up this morning, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm supposed to go to the market at 2, something stops your plan, you're able to quickly adjust, and you know, you push your trip to the market tomorrow. But for a child who has been used to routine, I wake up in the morning, I take my bath, I do this. By 8, I'm in school. By 2, the school closes. They are routine beings, and that has been disrupted. So resumption back to school, teachers, school owners have to keep, you know, like doing trainings for teachers several times, you know, to just let them see that these children, fine, you've been used to them before, but it's like a whole new period for them. Some of them have been emotionally traumatized at home. Some will have forgotten, you know, all the work they have been taught. Some don't even remember the routine anymore. So you just have to start like a orientation, you know, for the children. You have to wear the garment of patience for children who will come back having forgotten all they have been taught. You know, so that is a real huge side effect for children. They're going to have to start learning schedules again, you know, which is a big deal for a child. It's a big deal for a child. For a child who has been waking up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock now because there's no school. Yeah. When school starts, you wake them up at 6 and they're like, oh, I still want to sleep, you know. So we're going to have a lot of that in the classrooms. Children coming in at 8, looking sleepy, maybe till 9, 10. So we're going to have a lot of that. So teachers should just roll up their sleeves and be ready to embrace a lot of patience with the children, a lot of love and reassurance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sorinolu. How can parents, with this lockdown, we'll be hearing news now, church can open now, this, every week we hear different news. So how can parents prepare their children towards resumption? How can they prepare them emotionally? What can we do at the moment? You know, normally it was the routine of homeschooling and all that. Now we are on holiday. Most schools are on holiday. It's only assignments or reading that we are doing emotionally and intentionally. So how can we help them to balance it before teachers start putting non-patient garments so that when they resume, everything is going to go steadily, at least? Oh, Mrs. Sorinolu is gone. I hope she's going to join us anytime soon. Because like she mentioned, we are going to have a lot of sleepy children going to school. Some of us, we couldn't get the routine right. Normally in my house, bedtime is 9, but now we're going 10, 10:30 at some point, and we'll come back to 9. We'll still go back 9:30, 10. We'll still come back to 9. Wake up time is no longer 6. Even if you wake up, if my children should wake up at 6, I'm going to send them to bed intentionally, because that is when I am just waking up to, and I need I need to go for my me time, like she mentioned. My children are much younger. They can't understand that mommy needs to take a nap at 12 o'clock, or mommy needs to have me time at 12 p.m. so that she can relax her head. So that morning is always my me time. I try to make use of that morning to get ready for the day. So when my child or my children mistakenly by default stand up from their bed, if they stood up from their bed before 6 or 6 o'clock, I'm going to say, okay, you know what, breakfast is ready, just brush your teeth, eat, and back to bed. And I allow them to sleep. When they were still homeschooling, during homeschooling days, I try to wake them up before 9. But after homeschooling, please sleep to whenever you want to wake up, so that mommy can have a me time, so that she can be energized for the day. So Mrs. Sorinolu is connecting back. We're waiting for her. As soon as she comes on, she's going to help us to answer how we can reset. Hello, Mrs. Sorinolu, can you hear us now?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I was trying to say when the network went off, I was trying to say that how can you help parents? Because in my house before lockdown, bedtime was 9 o'clock, but at the moment we go to 10, 9:30, 10:30, 9, 10. We couldn't get it back. And I was saying that when my children mistakenly, as in by default, mistakenly, if they mistakenly woke up at 6 o'clock, I am going to send them back to bed, because that period between 6, 7, 8 is my me-time period. I don't want to be answering questions at that time. I don't want mommy, I want at that particular time. So how can we help our children to adjust? Because they are lifting up bands like every day, and we are hopeful that very soon they will tell all the children to go back to school. So how can we help them to adjust, so that when the children come to school, it will be easier for teachers to deal with as parents?
Well, yes, the easing of the lockdown has been gradually done anyway. You know, presently in Nigeria, we have the exit classes, SS3 going back to school. And they haven't allowed the JSS3 classes yet. Maybe by next week, they will review it again. And I think the same thing too should follow for primary schools and children in their early years. By early years, I mean children in the nursery classes. When we're asked to resume, I'm just suggesting for the government that it shouldn't just come like the normal school hours, which is what the secondary school children have now. I think their time schedule is between 8 and 2. So if children who are in their teen years are given that short period for them to recoup and get used to school, that will be welcome to for the primary classes and the early years classes. They can first of all maybe start by open school for like 8, and by 1 or so, everybody is closed for the day back home with their parents. You know, so that will give that opportunity for parents to adjust. You know, it's not like early morning runs anymore. Yes, it's not going to be as early as when parents have to get their children ready for like 5 a.m., especially for parents
Yes,
who live in Lagos and have to do school
Lagos,
bus runs
Nigeria.
and all that. So I think it should be done gradually as well. Coming to school should just be for a few hours for now, and then the children close early, and then over the period of weeks, when the government have observed that it's actually safe to go back to the normal schedule, we can go back. I think by then most parents will have been able to adjust. Most children will have gotten used to, okay, I've adjusted to, and then till life gets back to normal finally. So that's
So
what
how
I would
can
say.
we prepare our children? How can we prepare our children at home as parents? How can we let them know that, okay, yeah, you might be resuming school in like 2 weeks? Some children, you can't just promise them. If you tell them you are resuming next week, they're excited and ready to go to school, and government says no. So how can we tell them that you might be resuming and let's go back to our schedule? Or how can we just be intentional about just readjusting them so that when they resume, they're emotionally balanced?
Okay, I do believe in a lot of talk with children. Many parents overlook this aspect because we always box them up and think they are children. So for some parents who wouldn't, announce officially in the house that school will be resuming, supposing the government has said, okay, 2 weeks time we'll be resuming. You owe it to your child to let them know they'll be resuming school, especially for those who can
Yeah.
understand, talk. A child as young as 2 years old, you can tell the child, hello, you'll be resuming school soon. Of course, the first thing you may get for most of them will be excitement. For some of them, you are disrupting another schedule. You may get fear, you can get a child already crying who doesn't even know the date. Yeah, so one
Yeah.
of the first things we are going to do as parents is to do a lot of talking to them. You need to check out their school uniforms and ensure that it's not on the morning of resumption you are struggling to, do the buttons. That too can just disrupt a child. And you now tell the child resumption morning, sorry, you can't wear your uniform. You are going to wear, mufti to school. The child feels maybe odd, maybe because the child has added weight during the holiday. So there's a lot of things parents do have to check up, with the child before resumption. Check their school uniforms, check their school bags, check if those schools, the shoes still sizes them. Some of them have outgrown those shoes. If you want to force them in on them on Monday, they're not going to be happy throughout the day. First, they are not emotionally balanced yet. You have changed the schedule. They are wearing tight uniforms. They're going to all come to school with their face shield. You need to let them know they may have to wear their nose mask. Case that there's just a whole lot
Yeah.
to tell children. Some of them may feel it's fun. Like my children feel it's fun putting on their face mask when we go to church. But I can assure you, when school resumes proper, they may not find it fun anymore, where they have to have, the nose mask or the face shield on all day. They are not comfortable with it. So you have to let them know all these things. And of course, as good parents, we have to keep reassuring them that it's just for a while. Everything will soon come back to normal. So I believe in a lot of talking for children, a lot of talking and checking up of all those things that will make them comfortable on their first school day. And also, if you have been the parent who have been keeping in touch with your child's teacher, better for your child for bonding. If you haven't given your child's teacher a call from March till maybe September when we'll be resuming, you'll be in for the shock of your life. The child may not recognize the teacher, so well anymore. We start screaming. And then for you, the parent, your mind is not at peace, as in you left your child at the gate of the school in a teacher's care, screaming and shouting that, so you are leaving me with a stranger. So there's a lot of emotional preparation you have to take your children through milestones and all that before school resumes. Thank you.
With what it's just said now, it's like we have to start now. Whenever, even though we don't know when the
Exactly.
government is telling us that we are resuming, we should prepare
Exactly.
our children now emotionally, because
Yeah,
the government can just decide that we are resuming tomorrow and we are like, where am I starting from? Okay,
exactly. Exactly.
there's a question I would like to ask again.
Okay.
Children are supposed, by September, children are supposed to be promoted to another class. Some children understand this, whereby some children understand this, whereby some other children don't. For children that understand that they're supposed to be promoted by September, or I'm going to a new class, we don't know what the government will say. The government might say, let them still do short term, let them do this, or let them do first and second term, how can we tell the children that you're still in this class because of COVID-19, or you're moving into this class, we are using your fourth term as second term to balance? Because some children will definitely ask questions. Some children would definitely. So how can we talk to our children about, how can we explain
Well,
that?
there's a whole lot in that question you asked, really, because number one, we don't even know what the government will say or
Yes,
what they will
yes,
come
yes.
up with. Even having said so, every school may have their own policy, on what they are going to do to make sure
True.
that the children have a smooth sail to a new class. So it may be a very difficult question to just say, oh, this is how you should go about it with your child. Different schools have their
Okay.
different policies, exactly. And the government too hasn't said anything yet. So we really can't even say, oh, this is what we are coming to face in September or whenever we are going to read. We're just saying September because we are hopeful. It could be later than that, we don't know. We hope it won't pass September by God's grace.
Amen. We are aware that some school did promotion exam via Zoom, via network, or so, via online schooling. So I'm sure some people already know that they are going, but I'm sure some parents will be like, my child didn't pass well. I don't know how you want to do it. Just manage it, let them go, because I can't afford to pay school fees again or something. So that was why I asked that question, that how can we manage it? Finally, I want to ask, some children will not resume with they won't resume in the same school they were attending before. Some children might have changed, different things might have happened. So how do we manage our children's emotion that, okay, if you don't see Shade in school, if you see you are going to a new school, or if you don't see Shade in school, it's because of this, that, and that. So how can we just, because some children will
Okay.
cry that my friends are not in school, I don't want to go to that school anymore, and blah, 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 and all that.
Okay.
Or my
Okay.
teacher is not in school. Some teachers might not also resume.
Of
I don't
course,
want
of
to go
course.
to that. That's my teacher. That's the teacher that understands me. So how can we help our children?
First, children must learn, like I tell my children lovingly, that change is very constant in life. Some changes we can plan for it. Some they just come like that. Just like COVID-19 came, we went on vacation in March. We're told to be at home for 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks is extending to August.
Almost 5
Months.
months. Yeah.
Exactly. So change is something that is very constant in life, but the process of how we go through the change too matters, and that is why I say for parents, we have to just be there for them. Honestly, we just have to be there for them because they just have little minds. They can't really comprehend, what is happening. For children, for parents who may change their children's school, for instance, maybe because during the COVID period, they had to change house, so they had to look for a school nearby house, or mom and dad lost their job, so they can't afford that school anymore. They have to go for something cheaper. So many reasons may just,
Yeah.
occur. Maybe the child goes on the school bus, and then you don't want your child crammed up in the bus because of the pandemic. You want somewhere near home. So many reasons. Change is constant in life, but the way and process, our attitude towards change, is what really matters. Nobody knew at the beginning of this year, for instance, that we're going to have this. Everybody had their plans laid out, their New Year resolutions, and then COVID came up and it has changed, the way we live
A
and all
lot of
that.
things.
So you still have
Yeah.
to you just have to be there for your children. You have to be there. Unlike the normal resumption we would have had, maybe September resumption, if everything went as planned, even when your child starts a new class, for the first few weeks, for the first few months, you keep asking them questions, trying to bond, ensure there's no problem, So for that, for a period like that, and we are having this COVID crisis, and there may be a lot of changes, new teachers, and all that. I think we are just going to follow almost the same trend of being there for your children, asking them questions after each day, how their day went, trying to see if they have any fears, trying to, if your child's school has an open door policy, where you could always walk in and talk to the head teacher or to your child's teacher, that makes the whole process better. So your child's teacher can share maybe his observations about your child, how you can work together for the child to overcome what you see as fears, to learning and to adaptation. So with that, I'm sure the child will be fine. It takes some time. but they settle it again, and we believe God for the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sorinolu. So what I gain from that is we should always let our children know that change is constant. As soon as we let them know that from the beginning, they will be able to be balanced emotionally in whatever, maybe their friends, their school, whatever situation comes to them. If they just remember that, oh, mommy or daddy has told me that change is constant, maybe this is one of the changes, then they will be able to move on. Okay, thank you so much. I really gained something. I gained a lot from this interview. Can you just conclude for us, and we just conclude about emotional response in this COVID season? Encourage parents, encourage children too. Some children, like older children, might be watching this. So just final wrap. Thank you. Hello, Mrs. Sorinolu. Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
final wrap. Hello,
Okay.
hello, I can hear you. It was fluctuating. Final wrap is that change is constant, and that we'll all come out fine and stronger. You know, we're going to look back in our lives, God's prayer in our lives. Look at this period, wonder how we went through it, you know, and came out alive better at the end of the tunnel. But everybody will be fine at the end of the day. And then you remember, for your parents, you need to first of all take care of yourself emotionally, psychologically, and then when you are balanced, it's easy to, you know, pass that to your children as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this intentional parenting series. We really appreciate you. Thank you, regards to everybody. And I say to the parents out there, you are in for the best this season. Be intentional and continue to raise that godly heritage. Have a wonderful time. Bye for now.
All right, bye.